In my younger years, between 8 and 11 years of age, I did what I wanted with no regard for others. I had no sense of doing the right thing. Eventually got to the point where I had stopped respecting adult authority. Then one day, my dad and I had to talk about my behaviors. "Son," my dad questioned. "Yeah, Dad," I answered back. "What has gotten into you? Why don't you try and do what is right? Whether it's doing what you're told the first time or just attempting to be a good person. You seem to have lost care in doing what is right," he exclaimed. I sat there in silence for what felt like 100 years. "I don't know, Daddy," I exclaimed. Tears formed in my eyes and started rolling down my cheeks. I began to recall all the things I did and didn't do to let my parents down. My dad saw that I really felt bad and wanted to do better. "Okay, buddy, this is a turning point for you as we move forward. From now on, I want to see you do the right thing, no matter how difficult it may seem." "Okay," I said, as we hugged and put an end to the conversation. From that point on, I was like a backup player in our team, just waiting and wanting to show what I had learned. There were little moments here and there where I tried to do my best and do the right thing, but eventually a big opportunity was placed before me. It was my 7th grade year, and I just knew at some point that year I was going to be able to show my dad and myself that I had learned and grown from our conversation. I was sitting in Mrs. Bett's classroom when I asked to use the restroom. When I walked into the restroom, I noticed a little boy surrounded by older boys. The older boys appeared to be picking on him. The restroom felt as tense as a tied championship game. And I saw fear in the little boy's face. At that moment, I remembered the talk with my dad. I remembered his words about always doing the right thing. I took a deep breath as I mustered up enough courage to step in the circle and question what was going on. One of the boys looked at me and said, "Not much, just messing with this nerd. Look how weird he is." At this point, the other boys were laughing and making other rude comments. I realized I'd walked into a bullying situation. I knew what I had to do. "That isn't cool to pick on kids like that, man," I yelled. It was silent for a moment until one of the boys decided to knock the little boy's glasses off and laugh hysterically. I then proceeded to pick the glasses up and hand them back to the little boy who deserved none of this. "That's really not cool, man," I exclaimed as I wrapped one arm around the innocent boy, seeing if he were okay. "Treat others how you'd want to be treated," I told the small pack of boys and proceeded to walk out with the boy under my arm. I felt very proud of myself and knew that my dad would be too. Later on that day, I heard my name called on the intercom, so I made my way down to the main office. Waiting there for me was the dean of students, who called me back into her office. We sat down and she began to discuss the incident that had just happened a few hours prior. "Thomas, we as a staff are so very proud of you for doing what is right and standing up for a little boy who is being bullied." Evidently, the little boy had come down to the office to inform them of what happened and also to let them know about my act of kindness. "We're going to give you a super call," she told me, which at this time was the crown achievement of good behavior in the middle school. I was as happy as a kid on Christmas morning. I stood up for a little boy who needed some extra help, and I also showed my dad that the conversation had stuck with me, and I'm capable of doing the right thing no matter the situation. To this day, I still think back to this incident where I showed my dad and myself that I can do what is right. Some days I might miss an opportunity to do the right thing, but for the most part, I am always attempting to do what is right, no matter the situation.